and everything else is under edit. This is how you edit your component, your board, the mount points, and so on and so forth. In this video, I'm going to only go over the first three, since these are the basics that you need to know, almost everybody needs to know, and the other ones are all application based. So depending on your application, you may want to know what they do, which we have tutorial materials for them under the help drop down menu user guide. Any of these that you're looking at there is a tutorial for it here. Now back in here. So you want to edit your components. You will, for example, the ODB file has been parsed in, and then you know that some of these components are not looking okay. For example, these resistors, you can see that they're rotated 90 degrees. You need to bring them back on vertically. So you'll go to edit component, right click on one of these resistors. It highlights green, or sorry, highlights red, and then you can rotate 90 degrees. So now we can do this for all of these by holding the shift key and highlighting all of these together. Right click, rotate 90 degrees. Now I just need to go back in here. Let me highlight this guy and rotate this back to 90 degrees because I did it twice. Now let's look at the components at the bottom of the board. Let's go to turn off the component on top and turn on component at the bottom. Now let's look at the solder mask at the bottom and turn off the copper. Now you can see the same story goes for all these other resistors, but these components, the Qs, they're okay. So what I will do, I will use my filter. Show me anything that has R. There you go. Now I can hold my shift key, highlight all of these guys, right click, rotate 90 degrees. And at the bottom, when you're ready, you can click save, and it will save. Before I save, since if I save, this menu will go away, you always have cancel or reset, which it's obvious what it does. And then you have the help button. So here you get a short description of how to do these things that I'm talking about. Save. And we're good. Now we can go back on our top layer and then kill the label R. There you go. Next down the menu is board outline. You wanna, usually this is a perfect 90 degree board here, but usually you have curves. When you have curves, you have a lot of nodes that you want to usually delete some nodes to clean it up. It makes your simulation calculations much faster and much more easier. So you go to edit outline. You see I have one node here. If I create a few nodes here, I'm holding a shift key and click on one of these nodes and drag. It will give you a new node. So for example, this is your curved corner, right? So I'm not really good at drawing, but imagine this is your curved corner. You want to delete some of these nodes. You hold your control key and click on that node, and it will go away. And there you go. Back to normal. Reset. If you want to draw an outline, just click draw. Click, 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 and then you can draw an outline here. So now let's go reset. And then again, you have a help menu, which will explain very quickly how to do stuff here. So let's close this. Next is mount points. So Sherlock will take automatically the bigger drill holes and assume them as mount points. And that's not necessarily true. You can see in this board right now, if I hide my components, I have 4 mount points that I know they're correct, are on these 4 corners. But these 3 has been assumed as mount points as well, but I need to delete them. So while I'm in edit mount point, I can right click on one of these mount points and delete. Yes. Or again, I can hold the shift key and then grab a couple of these and then right click, delete. Yes. If you delete a mount point by mistake, let's just delete this guy. And then you want to add a mount point. You can either right-click, add a mount point, right? Which you can go and define if it's a mount hold, mount pad, standoff, or support pin, depending on what it is. Usually, it's either a mount hold or mount pad, right? So let's say it's a mount pad. Then you have to define if it's on the bottom side of the board or top side of the board. You give it a height. You give it a height of 5 millimeter. You define your material of that chassis, and then you can define the shape, right? Rectangle, circle, whatever. And then you give it the length and the width, and then location X and Y if you know the exact location. And then you can define the constraints. Right? That's one way, but I'm not going to save this. I want to put my mount point exactly on top of this drill hole. So what I do, I will hold my shift key and I will click. I will drop a mount point in the exact same location and the exact same size as the drill hole. So if I right click now, go to edit properties, you can see the center X and Y, it's locked out. I cannot change the center. It is tied into that drill hole. So that's one way of doing it as well. So save. And that's all about it, about mount points. So click save, and we are done.